What's up guys, Ninth Jim here, back with another VGC 2020 Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive video, and today we are talking about another one of the legendary dogs of Gen 5. I guess they're dogs, kind of. Anyway, so we already covered Terrakion. This time we are covering Cobalion. They all have a similar ability, well actually the same ability, justified, being whenever they are hit by a dark type move, they gain one attack stage. Their attack stage is raised by 1, which is really good, especially with a move called Beat Up. Now there's a move called Beat Up that hits as many times as Pokemon in your party. So in VGC format, you'll hit 4 times, giving Cobalion plus 4 attack. Now obviously, you know, it's susceptible by Follow Me or any kind of redirection. So that's, you know, something. We have Amoonguss, Togekiss, and DD female being some of the most played Pokemon, all in the top 10, maybe even in top 5. As far as usage stats go. So, you know, you're not going to activate the Beat Up Justified combo every time, but Cobalion is better than just Beat Up Justified. It has amazing stats, a really solid typing, and it's really bulky. So it has a lot of things going for it. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about this Pokemon. So, Steel Fighting type is pretty solid, giving us only 3 weaknesses of Firefighting and Ground, no quad weaknesses, 1 immunity of Poison, and then, was that 8? 8 resistances of Normal, Grass, Ice, Bug, Rock, Dragon, Dark, and Steel, making this Pokemon really, really bulky. We also have great stats as well, HP 91, Defense 129, Special Defense at 72. You know, HP and Special Defense are pretty, you know, average, but Defense at 129 is amazing, with Dynamax, potential investments, and Assault Vest potentially as well. This Pokemon can be an absolute tank, which is really good. And it also has an amazing Dynamax factor with great moves of being Max Knuckle, Max Iron Head, or Max Steel Spike, and Max Airstream, really allowing this to be a Swiss Army knife of a Dynamax, which is really good. Anyway, that's about it for the overview. Let's go ahead and talk about the set itself. So as far as VGC set goes, we are running the ability Justified. It's its only ability, you know, so of course we're running it, but it is also just an amazing ability as well, especially pairing up with them Beat Up partners, which we'll talk about a little bit more here in a minute. So as far as our item, we are running Assault Vest. There are a couple of different options as well. We went with Assault Vest just to patch up that subpar special defense stat and make its all-around bulk just absolutely absurd. You know, we can live Earth Powers, we can live Heat Waves now. It's just really solid with that, you know, Assault Vest. It's pretty good. Although, like I said, you know, its item can be pretty versatile, and you can use a couple of different ones. You can go with Life Orb for that Dynamax, and just more damage in general, and flexibility of Dynamax. We have Weakness Policy, which is amazing on Dynamax Pokemon as well, as we've seen all of VGC 2020 format. We also have Lumberry, which allows this Pokemon to not get burned, which is really good, or even sleep if your opponent spores you, which is a huge plus. You know, you don't really want to get slept on your Dynamax turns. And also burn sucks because once it's burned, this Pokemon without Justified, it's putting out pretty mediocre damage output once it's burned, so that's good. And then we also have Safety Goggles as an option as well. Just Safety Goggles is very generic now. You know, don't get spored, don't get rage powdered. It's good, really, and that's all I gotta say. Anyway, so as far as our moveset for the build goes, since we are running Assault Vest, we are running 4 moves. Iron Head, Close Combat for our stab moves, and then Bounce and Stone Edge for our coverage and utility. Bounce giving us Max Airstream for speed control. Stone Edge being able to erase those pesky weather teams like, you know, we have a lot of rain going around, we have a lot of sun going around with Chlorophyll, Venusaur, you know, Solar Power Charizard. We got a lot of Kingdra. Stone Edge becoming Max Rockfall is pretty solid, and the Pokemon's really fast, so it actually outspeeds a lot of things as well. And honestly, neither of those Pokemon threaten Cobalion too much. I mean, obviously Sleep Powder sucks, but you know, they're probably gonna miss sometimes. And yeah, Cobalion just doesn't care too much. It's pretty good. Max Airstream also just destroys Venusaur, which is cool. So yeah, pretty good set. We do have a lot of other options, however, so a couple of different, you know, spread moves, some coverage moves if you don't feel like going Stone Edge or Bounce. Then we have X-Scissor and Zen Headbutt. Could be good options, you know, set terrains, set, you know, just good secondary effects. I like the set that we came up with for the item Assault Vest set. But, you know, if you go any of the other ones, you have the versatility of going Protector, Swords Dance, or even Coaching or Helping Hand, which is really cool. Speaking of those moves, those are other moves that we could flex in. Protect, I just think, is really strong, especially if you go Life Orb, Weakness Policy, or Lumberry, or even Safety Goggles. Same with Swords Dance. Swords Dance is really good to follow me, especially with things like Togekiss, you know, or Amoonguss, anything like that. Coaching is a good option, and so is Helping Hand. Just being able to make your partner Pokemon very good, very strong. I like it. I think they're all really good moves. So this Pokemon has a pretty deep move pool of a lot of really good options of coverage moves, as well as even Swords Dance, Coaching, Helping Hand for damage manipulation. So it's pretty good. As far as our EV spread, we went very basic, just 252 into attack and 252 into speed. I left over 4 into HP since we're intending on Dynamaxing this Pokemon a lot. And then also Jolly Nature, giving it plus speed and minus special attack, just so that we can be as fast as possible. We hit 176 as a speed tier, which is pretty solid. You know, we outspeed a lot of really good Pokemon, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth here in a few moments when we get to the speed tier portion of the video. As for now, that is going to be it for our VGC build. I think it's pretty solid. Assault Vest for moves is really good, and just being as fast and strong as possible makes sense. Anyway, as far as a couple of synergetic Pokemon go, first off, we have Whimsicott. You know, beat up Pokemon. It's very good. It has Tailwind. It's supportive. It has Fake Tears to, you know, help the rest of your team as well. Taunt is a really good option. It also has not bad damage output with Moonblast and Energy Ball, which is pretty good. So I like Whimsicott a lot. I think it's a very optimal partner for Cobalion. Not to mention, of course, it has Beat Up. Next, we have Dragapult, which is another Pokemon that does have Beat Up. It can also be ran very supportively with Screens, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, you know, any of that kind of stuff. And then you could also run it, you know, offensive with Beat Up, U-Turn, you know, the standard moves, Phantom Force, Bounce even, you know, or Fly. All of those things that, you know, typical Dragapults do. You can run it supportively with Beat Up or just Beat Up and offensive as well. You don't even have to run it Beat Up. You can also just run it Max Airstream to make your Cobalion unbelievably fast on the side as well. A bunch of different ways to make Dragapult very, very useful in this kind of team. Next, we have our last synergetic Pokemon here that we have listed. It's Togekiss. Togekiss doesn't really come to a surprise, as it's one of the most generic great Pokemon to have with a lot of things. It has Redirection, which is amazing as well, especially for Swords Dance builds of Cobalion. And also, it has Redirection, which is good because redirect those fire attacks at it, redirect those fighting attacks at it, redirect those ground types at it, you know? Very good stuff. Cobalion doesn't like those attacks, so it covers its weaknesses really well, and then also dishes out really good damage against some of those Pokemon, especially fighters. So, it's a pretty solid synergy. Anyway, that's going to be it for this slide. Let's go ahead and move on to some speed tiers. So, like I said, we hit a pretty comfortable speed tier at 176, just being outsped barely by a couple of Pokemon, but outspeeding a lot of really good Pokemon as well. We are outspeeding initially Charizard, Volcarona, which is on the same speed tier as Charizard. We have Mimikyu, Excadrill, Form Change Rotom, Duraludon, Gyarados, Togekiss, Braviary, Chandelure. So many great Pokemon under that 176 speed tier that we're just initially outspeeding. And plus you have Max Airstream and Tailwind if you go with Whimsicott. So you have a lot of speed control and are capable of outspeeding those Pokemon that are above you, which are about, you know, Durant, Whimsicott, Cinderace, Inteleon, Dragapult, Weavile, you know, Swift Swim users, Chlorophyll users, Scarf Pokemon, stuff like that. But, you know, all of those we can't expect to outspeed unless we reset terrain, or weather, rather. So that's good. In sum up, we hit a very solid speed tier, only getting outsped by a couple of Pokemon that are unsupplemented and common in VGC 2020. So we're pretty competent with this Pokemon being fast. Anyway, that's going to be it for our speed tiers. Let's go ahead and move on to some damage calcs. So, as far as damage calcs go, this Pokemon does have the option to be able to hit in range of Okos of so many big Pokemon. I mean, look at those 4 offensive calcs. Guaranteed Oko, Guaranteed Oko, Guaranteed Oko, Guaranteed Oko. We will not get this all the time, as some of them do require us to be justified, which is kind of hard to do in this format with multiple huge redirection Pokemon, but it's still really good. So, first off, we have into a very defensive spread of Togekiss. We have Dynamax to Helping Hand, Max Steel Spike, which does put us into range of an Oko, but it is 220 HP, 196 plus defense Togekiss, which is the most common defensive spread of Togekiss. We are hitting 107 to 128 with that helping hand, which is huge, taking a guaranteed Oko without having to go beat up Justified combo. You do still have to helping hand, but helping hand activates before the redirection, so we do get to make our Cobalion very strong, and helping hand plus this is capable of taking that Oko on a defensive Togekiss, especially if it redirects. You just take it right out. Easy stuff. Next, we have our helping hand close combat into a Dynamax Tyranitar. Now, notice that a couple of these need helping hand, some need justified. Now, obviously, it doesn't have the most insane damage output without any of these supplements, but with the supplements, we are capable of taking Okos on huge Pokemon, like this Tyranitar. Max invest into HP, Dynamax Tyranitar, we are capable with just helping hand in close combat, hit 107 to 127%, which is guaranteed Oko, against Dynamax T-Tar, which is a huge Pokemon right now, very, very used, as well as just unbelievably bulky. It's very good that we hit an Oko. Just dodge the weakness policy. Get it out of here. Anyway, next we have our Max Knuckle from Cobalion, +3 from Justified, -1 from Intimidate, actually +4 from Justified, -1 from Intimidate, landing us at +3 in total. +3 Max Knuckle into the most common spread for Incineroar, which is 244 HP and 84 defense. We are hitting 156 to 185, which is a guaranteed Oko. Very, very good stuff. I like it. Also, notable, close combat without Justified does, I believe, hit an Oko. Might have to use, helping hand. Yeah, gonna have to use a helping hand, but still not capable. Actually, helping hand plus -1 from Intimidate, not capable. So you want to go with Justified for that kind of stuff. Anyway, next we have Max Knuckle from Cobalion at +4 from Justified into defensive Porygon 2 with 252 HP and 188 plus defense with Eviolite. Very, very bulky, like unbelievably bulky. But with Justified plus Max Knuckle, we are capable of taking that Max Oko, guaranteed Oko, hitting 107 to 128%, which is a very good damage calc to have because Porygon 2 is everywhere. It is the most used Trick Room setter currently. Obviously Dusclops fights it, as well as, Indeedee Hatterene stuff like that, but there's a lot of Porygon, and having a pretty decent means of Okoing it is pretty good. Next we have Dynamax. We have two defensive calcs now. So Dynamax, Life Orb, Cinderace, Max Flare into our Dynamax Cobalion is taking 70 to 82%, which is a guaranteed 2-hit KO and very, very close to the range of an Oko. Most likely Cinderace Max Flare won't be doing enough to take it out, although that is without the Gigantamax attack, and I believe the Gigantamax attack is just more damage. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember actually what they are, but it's kind of spooky. Kind of scary. Anyway, next we have Terrakion Max Knuckle from +4 from Justified, Dynamax Terrakion into our Cobalion Dynamax. This is Dynamax. So sorry about that. I always miss one thing. That's just like, I'm about to start doing it on purpose, see if people catch it. So into our Dynamax Cobalion, it is hitting 116 to 138. Honestly, this shouldn't come as much of a surprise. Max attack super effective, +4 Terrakion, which already has amazing base stats. It's very hard to imagine living +4 Terrakion Max Knuckle. Like, that's just, it's not gonna happen very frequently. Like, that's a very scary combo. And same with Cobalion in the mirror match. I think that'll also take the Oko. I'm not 100% sure because I didn't run the calc, but I'm pretty sure. Anyway, that's gonna be it for our damage calcs. Let's move on to single spotlight. So last slide of the video, single spotlight. We are running Justified Shuca Berry item. You can switch it out. You can go for Life Orb. You can go Weakness Policy. Probably not Weakness Policy because you're probably not going to be Dynamaxing this as much in singles. Shuca Berry, you could go with Life Orb, Choice Band even, but then you lose Swords Dance and Stealth Rock. Same with Assault Vest. So, it's up to you, but I like Shuca Berry on this. It's a little bit more defensive. It's more of like eat a big attack, Swords Dance, and then kill everything, so that's cool. We also have Stealth Rock and Swords Dance for those repositioning, pivoting turns. We also have Iron Head in close combat as our stab moves. Makes sense. You can switch out some stuff for some coverage moves if you need, but I think this is pretty solid. Sword Stance, Stealth Rock, Dual Stab, pretty solid. Went with the same spread, just 252 into attack and speed. Jolly Nature, giving us plus speed minus attack, or minus special attack. And then went 4 into defense, since we're not going to be Dynamaxing this Pokemon as much. Now, if you expect to Dynamax it more, go into HP instead. No, not much different. Anyway, that is going to be it for the video. In sum up, I think Cobalion is really, really strong right now. It's super bulky. It has beat up Justified as well. It has great partners, and it has a very solid typing, as well as amazing base stats. So I think this Pokemon is really good. Probably the second best of the 3 legendaries. I think Terrakion's the best one, probably. But Cobalion is really strong as well. So is Virizion. Virizion video will be coming at a later date. Whenever. If you want to see that, go down to the comment section right now and just say Virizion, or we want Virizion, or hey, do Virizion, stuff like that. Anyway, that's going to be it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go down in the comment section right now, say hey, nice vid, or anything constructive, whatever you want to say. Just leave a comment. It makes a big difference. Also, like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, join my Discord, do all of those things. Have a great next 2 months. Goodbye.